Yeah, so if you come across any of these, I think like at MSRP, definitely worth picking up. I think I wouldn't pay too much above MSRP for these. The MSRP in the US is already pretty high. Welcome to Whiskey and SV. I'm your host Sam, and tonight we'll be drinking some Hazelburn Oloroso casks. In fact, we'll be doing a blind tasting of the last 3 releases of the Hazelburn Oloroso casks. So, if you don't know what Hazelburn is a sub-brand of Springbank. And you know that because the bottles actually say Springbank on them. So Springbank is one of the most highly touted and highly regarded distilleries from Scotland. It is a very craft small distillery with not a lot of production. Campbelltown, which is on the west coast of Scotland, and the whiskey they put out is thought to be very high quality because it's done by hand and using all the old methods, and they don't do any automation or anything like that. So their output is very low, but it's very old style and sought after by all the enthusiasts. So the 3 sub brands that they have are Hazelburn, Springbank, and Longrow. The differences are that Hazelburn is triple distilled, a method that's kind of rare in Scotch whiskey because it's usually an Irish whiskey thing to be triple distilled, and it is unpeated. I have to say though, even though they state that it's unpeated, what they mean is that the malt is not peated. It means like the barley grain is not peated, but there's definitely some contamination. So if you are sensitive to peat, you will definitely pick up a slight amount of peat even on Hazelburn. Of course, all of these Hazelburns and most of the Hazelburns that I've tried to date are usually finished or matured in Oloroso or sherry casks, so they have a heavy influence from the sherry casks. Not all, but at least most of the ones that I've tried, and certainly all the ones we're trying tonight. The second sub brand is the namesake Springbank brand. Springbank is the 2.5 times distilled, so they do some special method that is, counted to be 2.5 times. I don't exactly know what that is, but yeah, it's also mildly peated. Sorry, not mildly, a medium peated, meaning that you're definitely going to get some peat in there. In fact, if you are sensitive to peat, you will think that Springbank is actually has quite a lot of peat. It's like definitely, not an insignificant amount of peat. And then last but not least, they have Longrow, and Longrow is their twice distilled and more rugged and heavily peated brand. And so if you're into super heavy peat, then the Longrow would be the one that you would go for. Okay, without history, let's get back to these. The ones that I have here, the first one is the 15-year bottled in April 2022. There was only 9,000 of these created. As you can see, each one of these is really hard to get, so they cost around anywhere from $120 to $200. I think I paid almost close to $200 after tax for the last one. This one is bottled at 54.2% ABV, and it's a 15-year distilled 2006, bottled in 2022. So we'll pour it here. This will be our number one. The second one is the 12-year from November 2022. And I think this one is only 49.9%. Yep, so it's 49.9% ABV. So yeah, it's like a good 3 years younger than the other two. But it was still thought pretty highly of. People really enjoyed this one. I do have a backup of this one actually, because I think I got this one. I got lucky and got this one from Total Wine, so I was able to pick up a couple. All right, last but not least, we have the 15-year from 2023, September 2023. And this one is 55.8% ABV. Okay, so let's pour this one as well. Cool. Right. So we will as usual, put them on the turntable. Oh, before I do that, I have to put the lids on them. So we'll put number 1 on the uh, oldest one, number 2 on the 12 year from 22, and number 3 on the 15 year from 23. Yeah, so interestingly, in preparation for this, I opened these last week and I was going to do a blind, but last week my nose was super blocked from allergies. I feel much better today, and I did try them once or twice in the last week, so I do have some experience with them. Going into it, my bias was that I preferred the 15 year from 22 the most, but we'll see if that's the case tonight. Okay, stop the table, do a semi shuffle, and okay. So as usual, I will nose them first, provide you some notes, then I will taste them, provide some notes, and then I'll tell you which ones I like the most and guess which is which, and then we'll reveal. All right, so let's start by the first one. Okay, so there's a very sherry forward note, kind of like I think of prunes and raisins, some plums. It's kind of like a bunch of red fruits that have been dried up. So a slight sour note to it. Not yeah, the kind of sour note that I enjoy. Let's go to the second one. Comparatively more muted. Very similar nose though. There's perhaps a slight amount of citrus, kind of like tangerine note to this, but comparatively it feels a bit more muted. All right, last but not least, go to the third one. Again, they're all pretty similar. It's not like there's like a whole world of difference on the nose. At least not tonight. I remember when I tried them side by side, the 215 side by side, I did think there was a big difference, but for some reason tonight I'm not picking up a huge difference. Yeah. Okay. Can't tell really a whole lot of difference on the nose. So let's just get started on the palate and see if you can tell the difference. That's very flavorful. Again, those the dark fruits, like the sort of like think prunes that have been left in water, and the water has got like super thick from it. Some raisins, but mostly like prunes and apricots, like black apricots that have been dried and like aged in water or something. And then there's like lots of sort of uh, spicy notes that come out in the mid palate. And then when they fade away, that dark fruit flavors linger quite a bit. There's also some peat in this. I have to say, like even though it's not supposed to be peated, if you have a sensitive palate, you will definitely pick up some peat here. That's very nice. I think this like really is tending towards being a cherry bomb though. There's definitely that cherry influence is quite prominent. It's not something definitely that's um, letting the spirit come through too much. It's like definitely. I would definitely say that this is a cherry bomb. Okay, let's go to the second one. Hmm. Comparatively, this one is got a little bit more of a alcohol note to it. There's the ethanol note is a little bit more. The spicy notes are a little bit more. It's a little bit more effervescent. Yeah. Overall, I think it feels a bit younger. Definitely not as viscous on the palate as well. I think between these two, I definitely prefer the first one. Okay, let's go to the last one. Very nice. This is also quite spicy. Very mouth-watering, in fact. Okay. I I'm not sure between the first and the last which one I prefer. They're all pretty similar, I think. It's not like there's a world of difference. At least not tonight. I don't know. Again, for some reason, some nights I can really tell the difference between two things, and some nights not so much. Um, it is what it is. I mean, I don't know how the palette works really. Okay, let's try to do these two side by side. I get like I think a slight sulfur nose on this that's missing from this. This is more just like um, there's no sulfur notes. There's just pure, just like fruity kind of like fruity notes. But this one has a slight sulfur note. Definitely not a lot, but it is there for sure. And there's a tinge of bitterness towards the finish. Now I go back to this. This is, I think this is like by far the most flavorful one, and is the one that I enjoy the most. This would have to be the second most enjoyable, and this would be the last. So, based on what I remember, I thought I liked the older 15-year better, the 15-year from 22 better. So I'm going to guess that this is the 22 15-year. I'm going to guess that this is the 12-year, and I'm going to guess that this is the newer 15-year, the 15-year from 2023. And order of preference again, this, and then this least. Let's go and do the reveal. All right, so this is number 3. So actually the one from 23, 15-year from 23 is my favorite. Okay, and the second one is number 2. So this is a 12-year. So that's good. Got that one right. And that means this is number 1. So yeah, so I guess the 15 years are clearly more complex. They're more full. I guess they're also like higher in ABV, about 5 percentage points, which is not insignificant. So I understand why they're better, and they're more interesting. But yeah, I think they're all really nice and solid whiskeys. If you do find the 23, that is yeah, definitely the bolder one and the most flavorful one. Yeah, that's really great. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that episode and you found it informative and useful. Yeah, so if you come across any of these, I think like at MSRP, definitely worth picking up. I think I wouldn't pay too much above MSRP for these. The MSRP in the US is already pretty high, but they are pretty high quality and special drams. So I think they're definitely worth it to pick up at MSRP. Okay, well, thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you next time. Cheers.